Muhammad Ali was far more than a boxer. He was a cultural icon, a man whose life story went far beyond the boxing ring, earning him the title of the greatest, not only because of his athletic brilliance, but also because of his charisma, conviction, and unshakable courage. And while the world celebrated his unforgettable fights, his refusal to be drafted into the Vietnam War, and his bold embrace of Islam, behind all of the triumphs and controversies lay a personal life filled with struggles, wounds, and betrayals that left scars no championship belt could ever erase. For Ali's story was not just one of power and fame but also of love, loyalty, and the pain of broken trust. And in the later years of his life, as Parkinson's disease weakened his once lightning-fast body and silenced his booming voice, he reflected on those wounds, confessing that there was one betrayal he could never forgive, one woman whose actions haunted him long after their marriage had ended. Ali had 4 marriages and countless admirers, living under the constant pressure of fame and the temptations that came with it. Yet it was his second wife, Belinda Boyd, later known as Khalila Ali, who left the deepest and most lasting mark on him, for their marriage began in the 1960s during one of the most turbulent chapters of his life, when he had been stripped of his boxing license for refusing military service, vilified by much of America, and left fighting for both his career and his dignity. And through it all, Khalila stood by his side, showing loyalty and resilience as Ali battled not only opponents in the ring but also public scorn, political battles, and personal doubt. Yet even as their marriage seemed outwardly strong, it was tested constantly by Ali's notorious infidelities, which eventually tore them apart. Still, when Ali looked back, it wasn't his own failures that he carried the heaviest burden for, but what he perceived as Khalila's betrayal. For after their divorce, she did not hold back from publicly sharing their struggles, voicing her resentment and anger long after their marriage had ended. And though Ali forgave many people throughout his life, even his fiercest rival Joe Frazier, whom he had once mocked and belittled, he admitted in private conversations and interviews that Khalila's harsh words and unwillingness to let go of the past hurt him more than any punch he ever took in the ring. Because for Ali, loyalty was sacred, and in his mind, she had abandoned him in his most vulnerable moments when he needed her support the most, leaving him with a wound deeper than any physical injury. Even as the world continued to celebrate him as a symbol of resilience, justice, and pride, Ali carried this emotional scar until the end of his days, showing that behind the legend was a man who could forgive almost anyone but not the woman whose betrayal he believed cut the deepest, reminding us all that even the strongest champions are still human, and that some pains remain too raw, too personal to ever fully heal.